Today on Hampton Roads Business Weekly, we're talking about change.
Whether it's growing your business, cutting back, or even starting a second career.
Change is in the air on Hampton Roads Business Weekly, starting right now. Hello, I'm Zach Miller.
And I'm Cheryl Tan. Welcome to Hampton Roads Business Weekly, a weekly look at the businesses and entrepreneurs making an impact right here in Hampton Roads.
Today we're talking about change. It can come in many forms, from new opportunities that present themselves to changes in the size of one's business.
We want to know how entrepreneurs handle and adapt to that change. And we start with Laura Henderson and her company, BizConnect Hampton Roads. Find out how her networking company evolved out of an online marketing business to her home office to a brand new location in the Ghent section of Norfolk. We're here with Laura Henderson, the founder of BizConnect Hampton Roads. Laura, big congratulations in order for you.
Thank you so much, and thanks for being here.
We are in your brand new office space in the Palace Shops in Ghent in Norfolk, and just a few days ago you had your huge ribbon cutting. What was that like?
You know, it's a milestone in my business. I never thought I'd be standing in front of 200 businesses with the mayor cutting a ribbon. And, you know, a month before that, I'm in construction clothes and actually doing most of the work to get this going.
It was a lot of work, certainly. I want to start, though, 2 years or so ago, when you had the vision for your business. It wasn't necessarily this, was it?
Not at all. When I worked for a corporate company for 16 years, and when I left, I did some interviewing and decided, you know what, now's the time to make my way, make my own business, and I've always wanted to have my own business, never knew what to do, so I really started out helping small businesses by marketing friends' businesses. So I started a company called Win Local Stuff, which was social media contest online. And it's giving away something from a business and really just sending traffic to their Facebook page. So I started going to networking events, and I really couldn't find any quality networking events where, you know, these are people I want to do business with. So I made my own. Started small, 15, 20 people, did them maybe once a month, and they just started growing and growing. So BizConnect Hampton Roads was formed. Started getting members of the group and started taking the networking events to their locations to showcase their business.
Let's go back to the networking part. And when you were trying to figure out how your business would grow, you didn't find what you needed in networking events.
Right.
What makes yours different?
You know, what makes mine different, and I've had to have conversations prior to people joining, is that I don't want the hard sell. This is not about pitching your business. This is not about walking into a group and seeing dollar signs over everyone's head. It is really about building a relationship, building trust, making friends, and, you know, with that philosophy, you will get more business in the long run than you will with just targeting one person and saying, hey, you're going to become my customer.
Fast forward to today, where you have your 200 plus members. Where does this fit in, this physical space?
So the Resource Center came about for a couple of reasons. One, you know, I feel I was working from my home. And I feel like working from your home is great for a period of time. You know, I was going to coffee shops, I was meeting with people. You need a physical location with your name on the door to really legitimize your business. And I felt like it was really time after a year and a half to sort of take that step. And I thought, how can I make this happen? So, you know, this space is bigger than what I need for an office, so I decided let's make it a resource center. So I have tenants who are actually resources for small businesses. So they are renting space from me. And not only do I have private office tenants, but we will also turn this into workshops. So we'll have a workshop space. So we will have workshops. We've got one coming up that will be really a peer group on introducing yourself at networking events and really making sure that when you introduce yourself, people are perceiving what you really do and understanding what you do. So it's going to be kind of a peer group.
What would you say to other entrepreneurs, knowing that you have so many in your circle and you're seeing them grow, you're seeing them succeed? What would you say are some secrets to that if you would talk to other entrepreneurs about how to do well in business?
Well, I think one of the things that I have focused on is branding. You really have to make sure, there are a lot of do-it-yourselfers out there, and which is why I want to offer those tools to the do-it-yourselfers. There's nothing wrong with trying to do it all yourself, but you really need to have branding that works for your business. You really need to focus on social media. You really need to get out there in front of people. If you're sitting at home at your desk, you're not getting your business in front of other people. So it really is about the professional brand. I see people who try to dabble in a lot of different things. It's focusing, it's honing on that one thing that's your skill and really putting that out there so it's not confusing to people.
Laura Henderson, congratulations, and thanks so much for talking
Thank
with us
you.
today.
Coming up, she's active duty military and runs her own company delivering care packages to our servicemen and women overseas. Meet the woman behind Troopster next.
But first, we'd love to hear from you. So if you have questions or comments during the show, you can tweet us at HR Biz Weekly. We're back right after the break.
Welcome back to Hampton Roads Business Weekly. We're here with Chelsea Mandello of Troopster. Chelsea, how are you?
Hi, I'm great.
So thank you for your service, current service as well. I think this is really interesting. You have built a product that you wanted when you were overseas and are now giving back to those as well. Tell us a little bit about Troopster.
Sure. So Troopster is a care package site in which friends and family of deployed military can easily create a care package through my site, troopster.org, and it lets them simplify the process of building the care package and sending it out.
You said you came up with this idea because your mom had been sending you some packages and fellow service members were there and they received some of this stuff and it doesn't come in a way that you can actually do anything with it, and you wanted to change that.
Yes, yeah, this happens a lot actually, where friends and families will send baked goods or perishable items that by the time it gets out to us, it's either gone bad, or because of our limited space, we aren't able to really keep it.
You're currently in the military. How do you decide that this is something that you even have enough time to do? How does that whole process come about?
Yeah, well, once I made the decision to go on ahead and do it, I started kind of putting everything together. I realized that this was a need, this was something that needed to be out there, and you're right, even though I'm still currently active duty, I made the decision that I was gonna make this happen. So long nights, early mornings, and after 2 years of planning and now...
Longer nights and longer, right?
Longer nights, longer, yes. We just finally got up and running.
What's the feeling to get that first kind of package out there? When you finally got out there, what was that like?
Oh my gosh, it was scary, actually. I want to say it was very exciting, but it was very scary.
Yeah.
When I first launched, I expected everyone to already know about it, and so I was terrified I was going to get 200 orders the day I launched, and then when nothing happened for 2 weeks, I was terrified.
I think
that
a lot
I
of
was
people
gonna
have
make it.
that. A lot of people have that kind of theory that, oh, everyone's going to love what I have, and they're just going to know me, and they don't. So how do you get through that? How do you get to day 15 and realize, all right, I have to change this?
Perseverance, talking to other individuals such as yourself. You were there at the beginning whenever I launched, so were other local small businesses, and I kind of reached out. I found mentors who had started small businesses as well, and they were the ones who were kind of my voice of reason, who told me it's okay, take a breath, give them time.
So now you've made some sales, you're sending them out weekly. How are you acquiring users? What are some of the ways that you're getting in front of them and convincing them that this is a good step for them to take?
Sure, a lot of word of mouth. Social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest have been some of our best resources for really getting the word out.
So what does a Pinterest post look like for you?
Every time I create a box, I shoot a photo of it. I let people know what's in it, usually about the area of where it's going and how excited I am to actually get it out there.
What can people expect in a box? I mean, I see a bunch of different things, but what are kind of the things that most people are buying?
Snacks. A lot of the Oreos, crackers, protein bars.
Well, what did you, if you were to get one of these, what would you want?
I'll admit I like the snack bars as well, but my personal favorite is the snack pack.
Okay.
Snack pack ultimate. We also throw like puzzle books in there. I'm a bit of a nerd. I really like those.
Sudoku.
I
Right.
do,
Very
yes.
challenging.
These are great for laundry. So our laundry services, we have maybe 20 to 3,000 people.
Wow.
So when you do laundry, it is a 6-hour process, mostly of just waiting in line. So this is great.
I love it, and I think what you've done is tremendous. People can find out about you where?
Well, our website is troopster.org.
Okay, and the best way, if someone could help you, what's the best thing for them to do?
They can either reach out to us on Facebook or just through our site.
Awesome. Chelsea, congratulations, and keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Coming up, meet an entrepreneur who scaled her business from 40 locations down to 2. But first, ACK Hack.
Yo, what's up, everyone? In this week's ACK Hack, I have something that is truly revolutionary. Now, I know that you guys are on Facebook and you've found all these trends on where you should post and when you should post, but here is really what I found works best. Go over to who your friends are and see if there's a little green dot that says on. And if a lot of the people who typically are going to engage with your Facebook post are on, post. If they're not, don't, and wait until a majority of them are on. Why? Because those people are going to help you grow that piece of content up. That's it for this week's ACK Hack. More after the break.
We're here with Pam Katrancha, the owner of Garden Gazebo, 2 locations, one at Pembroke Mall, one at MacArthur Center in Norfolk. Thanks so much for talking with us today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
You've had a lot of experience in retail, but I want to start with what you're doing right now. What does your business look like today?
Well, Garden Gazebo is obviously a garden-related business, and it is open 12 months out of the year, and we are selling merchandise to people for their own homes or their beach homes, and also for gifting.
You started, though, a long time ago, as you mentioned, in the 1970s in retail, and at one point you mentioned to me that you had 40 locations around the country.
Well, Garden Gazebo started in 1993, and we started as a seasonal business. We did begin here in Norfolk, and we're from the Norfolk area, but we expanded and we had 40 stores around the country in our last effort to have seasonal stores in 2003, so holiday time. That was when we did it, last quarter. At that time, we decided to bring the business home and open year-round, because honestly, that was a question that many customers asked at Christmas time. Well, why aren't you open in the spring? That's when we're working in our garden.
Right. I want to go back, though, when you had those 40 stores and when you made that decision to bring it home. What sorts of challenges did you find yourself in dealing with so many stores around the country and with so many different employees and locations?
Well, I've told people I felt like I had 40 children that I didn't give birth to because I did visit those stores during the holiday season. And it was to give support, certainly. We did do a training meeting for the people who worked in those stores that we would hold here in Norfolk. And then we sent them on their way with lots of good tools. They operated in kiosks that we owned and built. They operated in malls that we put the leases together, so we knew that we were putting them in good places and with the opportunity for success. But it was a challenge. I will say it was a challenge because it was the holiday, it's a very busy time, and they were all over the country. You can only be in one place at one time.
Absolutely. You bring it back home to Hampton Roads, and you have 2 locations now. I know originally you had 3?
Well, the first store that I opened as a year-round business in January of 2004 was in Ghent. It was a freestanding store. It was in the old Roses building, and we were there for 10 years. I think, you know, our business experience in being in malls really showed us that there's so much built-in traffic in a shopping mall, and thankfully, Garden Gazebo had a very good name, and people saw us and they wanted us in their malls.
I know you have an online presence, so
We
you
do.
sell online.
We do.
How has that online commerce part help or hurt your business?
Well, I think especially when we were all over the country, you know, our bag said gardengazebo.com, so that's what a wonderful way to spread the word for when you're not open. But we mainly sell our flags on our website because it is our #1 product. It is what we sell the most of, and it's an easy item to sell online, and we are always changing. You know, we have a great variety.
Back to social media and how you've used it to grow your business now. What are some of the best strategies that you've found to work in your retail business to get the word out about your products and what it is you offer?
Well, I send a newsletter out every week, and that has a generous coupon in it. Has a little message about maybe new products or something about the business, and it goes out to quite a few people. We have a very large list of people for that. And also, that does show up on our Facebook page. So any message that we send on that shows up on our Facebook page. In addition to that, we do a flag of the week, and that's a separate email or Facebook post, and it's really attracting a lot of attention, so I know it's working well. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank
I
you.
love hearing these tips that are working well for your business. Any last words to any entrepreneurs out there who are trying to figure out how to grow?
I think, you know, the product line being relevant, you know, what's popular. I think every store, every retail store that I know has some bit of gardening items, but ours is really focused. And, you know, if we're going to be called Garden Gazebo, we want people to know what they're coming to buy. But we do it in a variety of ways. I mean, in Norfolk, we have mermaids, but mermaids that are related to your garden. You know, it's just, I think, you know, just figuring out who you are and making sure that you stay true to that and buy accordingly, sell accordingly, thinking about the economy. Price points are really, really important. In 2008, when things seemed to really fall apart in the business world, we knew that price points were important because people are going to still shop.
Right.
So all of that, I think, goes into helping your success.
Pam, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, you're thinking about hiring a new employee. Should they be part-time or full-time, W-2 or 1099? We have all the answers in a new segment called Legal 101. It's next after the break. Welcome back to Hampton Roads Business Weekly. We're here with Gabe McCoy, co-founder of Pierce McCoy.
Good to be here.
And alumni of Regent University.
Correct.
What was the school you were in there?
Law school.
Law school.
Regent Law.
Regent Law. There are a lot of people there. Congrats for being on the show today. Thanks for being here.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
All right, so I am an established business. I'm growing, and I don't know if I should bring on someone full-time, part-time, or as a contractor. And I know there's some fine lines there. Are there kind of best case protocols to follow?
The thing that's going to drive it isn't even a legal question. I mean, I find that what you're willing to spend and how often you need that person's help is really going to dictate how they back into what legal form you hire them. What does that look like? You said part-time versus full-time. We have folks on the team at our firm part-time, but they're employees. So part-time versus full-time really doesn't drive that answer.
So it's really employee versus contractor.
It's really a question of, are they a contractor or are they an employee for purposes, primarily for tax reasons. But I think what you're willing to spend and how often you need them is what the business owner should ask, because that's going to drive it. That's going to drive the discussion.
And so when they're looking at this, so they go to, where do they find out what the difference is between the...
There's a million things online. Attorneys have the answer as well, but I mean, there's so much content online. The IRS publishes the difference between, you know, a W-2 employee and a 1099 contractor. So tons of content online you could find.
From a contractor versus employee standpoint, what kind of challenges do you see people have in your day-to-day?
Sure. I mean, the number one thing is somebody's scaling, they're growing like crazy. They say, you know what, I don't want to have people on payroll. I don't want them to be a quote employee or a W-2. So
because they don't want to pay taxes? Is that normally why?
Well, that's the driving reason. They want to avoid the employer portion of the payroll tax. So they say, I have all these 1099 people helping me. Well, how many do you have? Well, 20. Do they work full time? Sure. And so you have to gently show them, well, here's the rules. And I understand wanting to save money, but you know, in the event of an audit or somebody challenging their status, you could get hit with penalties and fines and things like that.
So it's not about the amount of hours they work. it's, or it is?
I mean, technically it's a 3-part test with about 21, 25 factors.
What type of things are on that?
Do they supply their own equipment? How are they paid? Are they paid every 2 weeks? Does it smell and feel like an employee on a payroll?
So if they use my equipment, they're an employee. If they use theirs,
That's a factor that weighs in favor of them being deemed an employee. Are they in control of how they accomplish the task? Or are they given strict orders, here's what you do, here's when it's due, and here's how you do it?
so if I check any on the box, I have to do one, or is it?
It's a weighted factor, it's a weighted test. The more boxes that you check in favor of them being an employee, you're bumping up against that line of it's better from a risk standpoint to pay the payroll tax and play it safe.
And so, someone would
position.
be, they would come to you and say, hey, I've looked at this checklist on irs.gov. I see that it's here.
Right.
Can I go this way or this way? And you're going to advise them one way or the
Sure.
other.
You know, what I have is we have a memo that we give them. We say, here's what the rules are, and here's cases in favor and against being an employee from an IRS standpoint. And often I don't have to make the decision. I never do, but they always realize I'm really bumping up against that line. I should probably just play it safe. So that's often what happens.
So the employee versus the contractor world, play it safe.
I say the business owner has enough challenges.
Yeah.
Why create another challenge with the IRS? There's enough out there that you have to overcome. It's a jungle, it's a war every day to succeed. The last thing you want is the federal government sending you letters, asking questions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't want a letter. Gabe McCoy.
No.
Thank you.
Thanks, Zach.
That wraps up another edition of Hampton Roads Business Weekly. Like us on Facebook and Instagram at HR Business Weekly.
There, you will find segments from previous shows, plus some great behind-the-scenes pictures and videos. For Hampton Roads Business Weekly, I'm Zach Miller.
And I'm Cheryl Tan. We'll see you next week.
Hampton Roads Business Weekly, sponsored by Regent University and produced by ABC 13.